I've not seen such bravery.
There was a time when skateboarding seemed awesome. It was the days of tech decks and rocket power, the glory days of extreme sports fascination. Then I got older and went to college, and every time I saw a skateboard, it was carrying some douchebag across campus who thought the entire sidewalk belonged to him, or it was falling to the ground as its owner faceplanted after attempting an ollie. Suffice it to say, my admiration for skateboarding is not what it once was. But perhaps it's not too late to go back to the pinnacle of my skateboarding fascination, the Tony Hawk's franchise.
Now, my favorite installments of the series were Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Tony Hawk's Underground 2. In fact, I played Thug 2 so much that I wore out the X buttons on 2 of my PlayStation 2 controllers. I mean, I loved that game. I started to lose interest after Project 8. In fact, it was the last one I got. Until today.
So let's, you and I, try to recapture some of the magic of the Tony Hawk franchise with one of his latest games, released in 2009. I want to take you for a ride.
Tony Hawk Ride was a departure from the main Tony Hawk's Pro Skater formula in that it dropped the apostrophe S from the title. I mean, it's hard for me to tell that these two games are even from the same series. The apostrophe S is very important. Along with this dramatic change was a minor control scheme change. You see, instead of hitting X to jump, you had to use that monstrosity over there.
Hey, thanks for picking up Tony Hawk Ride. What you have in your hands is one of the most advanced game controllers ever made, and we are stoked that you're about to experience skateboard video gaming at its best.
Is it just me, or is anyone else really hungry for a T-Mobile sidekick right about now? Tutorials, videos, and pretty much anything that isn't the main game takes place on the screen of a T-Mobile sidekick, a relic of the early 2000s. Oh wait, you mean they kept making those? Alright. Well, regardless of its continued production, seeing the sidekick automatically takes me back to high school, and it's a great example of how putting real-life technology in your game can instantly date it.
But a phone isn't the technology that you guys want to hear about. It's this, the board that Mr. Hawk claims is one of the most advanced game controllers ever created. Now, I don't know about that, but I will say that these things are sturdy. I mean, you could conceivably actually skateboard on this thing without having to worry about it breaking. It's not a cheaply constructed piece of technology.
The whole idea of the board is that it can sense which way you tilt it, allowing you to ollie and kickflip just like Tony Hawk. The simulation is intense. I mean, I really feel like I'm in the game. Don't try this one at home, kids. That is, not unless you have Tony Hawk Ride. Tony Hawk Ride. It sucks. Let's talk about the biggest problems with the board, shall we? For starters, this board is not a suggestion. This is not an optional control scheme here. This is a requirement, a demand, a burden. From the moment you turn on the game, this board is the bane of your existence. And since it's such an essential part of this game, I've included the patented Ian action cam in this video, so you can see just how well the game responds to what I'm doing. Aside from being able to tell which way the board is tilting, there are 4 sensors on the board that detect motion. This is most commonly used to make your character move forward as you drag your foot across the ground. And since it's such a fundamental part of this game, it's no surprise that it doesn't work that well. The best solution I had was to actually drag my foot across the edge of the board. Or, I mean, you could always just use your hand. Well, we know how to go forward, so we might as well get started with the campaign mode. We can figure out the tricks later. As Tony Hawk said in his award-winning autobiography, if you skate it, tricks will come. Alright, let's see what kind of crazy story Tony Hawk has cooked up for us this time.
Can you believe it? This skater just turned pro, and now look where we're at. This is a true Cinderella story. Just a few days ago, they were called up by P-Rod for a special mission in Southern California.
So, that just seemed to raise more questions than it answered.
This skater just turned pro, and now look where we're at.
Where are we at? Who is P-Rod?
P-Rod.
What is Boom the X2 Go show? I'm guessing this all just means that it's going to be a pretty standard story. We start as a small skater, then rise to fame and compete in the world-famous Boom the X2 Go show. But come on, a 15-second intro, I mean really? And it's not like there was any effort put into it, it's just Tony Hawk with some bad filters over him, basically saying, "Oh, I'm Tony Hawk, thanks for buying the most advanced controller ever. Here's the game, I guess, I don't know." Tony really eases you into this game. The early levels are just tutorials, and most of them aren't exactly challenging. Just relax and have fun. Well, okay, check that one off, I guess. The first tutorial is seriously just stand on your board and make it go. Ollies are probably the most reliable thing you can do with the board, but even then it doesn't always work. You can also perform ollies to advance on menu screens, but that's when the move is especially unreliable, so it's better to just keep a controller close by. Grinding is like a million times easier than in previous games. If Tony Hawk Ride reflects my skill as an actual skateboarder, then I could grind anything for forever. When you jump towards something grindable, the board latches onto it like a magnet, and as far as I know, it's impossible to fall off. The most difficult thing I learned in the tutorial were called flick tricks. See, there are two different breeds of board rotating tricks. The first ones are called tilt tricks. I'm not exactly sure how you do those because apparently this counts as an ollie and I accidentally skipped the tutorial. But I do tilt tricks all the time without meaning to. I mean, I am the tilt trick master. Flick tricks, on the other hand, are an impossible set of tricks delivered straight from skateboard hell itself. The idea is that you pop the board up, shift it to the side, and then put it back down. The guy in the tutorial has no problem doing it, but me, well, let's just say that I had a bit more trouble. But at least I was having a great time. I mean, that's what's important, right?
Fuck!
But with a little perseverance and a lot of luck, I finally passed the tutorial section and got started on the real game. You see, in the early stages of the game, navigation was more or less taken care of for you. See that yellow line there? Your skater follows it automatically, providing a weird on-rails Tony Hawk experience. But now it's time to take off the training wheels and do a speed run.
Hey, it's P-Rod here. What's going on?
Oh hey, it's P-Rod. Remember P-Rod?
P-Rod.
Well, P-Rod, I'm just sitting here waiting to see what kind of crazy story we're gonna get into. Are we making a skate video to try and impress the big boys? Are we going on a world destruction tour?
I'm here in Venice Beach. Come on down. Let's go skate some spots I know.
Oh, well, that's cool too. Let's get going. Oh, I guess you're gonna go first then. That's fine. I'll just, wait, I guess.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and I know.
Speed sessions are pretty straightforward. We're just trying to get to the end of the level as fast as we can. In fact, it's so straightforward that if we could actually go straight forward, it'd be a cinch. This is easier said than done though, because steering is impossible. No matter how level I try and keep the board, my skater just kind of veers off in a random direction. The result of this is that I spend a lot of time hugging the wall, which seems pretty impossible to do in the real world, but in Tony Hawk Ride, it seems to work out pretty well. Well, for the most part. When your skater falls, he falls. I mean, this is not how someone with a passion for skateboarding falls. This is the fall of a man who is completely given up and is just giving in to the cold, hard embrace of the concrete below him. I mean, look at this here. I successfully phased through a light post, which is a pretty incredible feat if I do say so myself. But all it takes is a light tap from a bucket and I just completely collapse, too defeated to even put my arms out to break my fall. And where the hell am I anyway? I'm still supposed to be getting to the end of the level, but I think I stumbled into a secret area of the map or something. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that looked normal. And finished. A speedy 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Not too shabby if you ask me. I mean, unless you want to consider the record of 45 seconds, but as far as I'm concerned, that was a flawless run.
Ooh-wee! You are fast. You should try your skills at a different session type.
And you should really mind your damn business, P-Rod, because I do what I want. So let's try our skills at the trick session type next, which is pretty much exactly what you'd expect it to be. Get the highest score possible in the allotted time. This is where the biggest problem of Tony Hawk Ride comes to light. Pulling off tricks and stringing combos is doable, especially since we've been instructed on how to do so in the tutorial sections. But the big points are in a strategy that's much less graceful. By just rocking back and forth on the controller as much as possible, you become the best skateboarder to ever shred the pipes or something. Speaking of pipes, there are half pipe levels where you turn the board sideways to simulate going back and forth on the ramp. This mode actually works really well. That is, until you realize that by literally jumping up and down on the board, you'll make more points than if you actually put forth any effort.
Hey, what's up?
Ah. Hey, man.
I've been expecting you.
Well, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Let's get go. Oh. Oh, we're gonna do this again? No, really, that's fine. I'll just wait over here. It's cool.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
I've been expecting you.
Okay.
Are you ready for this pro challenge or what?
Yeah, I was ready like 2 hours ago, but you made me stand around and watch your little skate video. So don't start giving me attitude, crazy hair. We're gonna have issues.
The Pro Challenge is a compilation of 4 short stages, and the goal is to get the highest score. And I bet you can't guess what the best way to do that is.
Weird. I just got this text message from Stevie Williams telling me that you already have tickets to Chicago.
Holla.
How the hell does he know you're here?
I'm sorry, are we not gonna address the random person hollering at us in the middle of our conversation? You can't just have someone pop up like that and not explain it.
Holla.
It confuses people and makes no sense.
Anyway, we unlocked Chicago, so let's check it out. Oh, I guess we unlocked a new skater as well. Just gotta ollie to continue. Just gotta ollie to continue. Just gotta ollie. Just gotta ollie. Ollie to continue. It froze. And not only did it freeze, but it also erased all of my save data. That's okay though. I mean, it's no big deal or anything, it's just save data. I can just play the game again. I mean, it was just so much fun the first time, right? Instead of torturing myself with the campaign mode again, let's see what other modes we have available to play. There's free skate, which is probably the best mode in the game. Instead of getting angry at not being able to go in a straight line or jumping up and down on the board in an attempt to get a high score, you're able to just attempt to intentionally pull off tricks. I mean, it's still not fun, but it's more fun than the other modes, so that's something, I guess. Speed slalom is literally impossible. Okay, maybe not literally, but if you've already forgotten from before, steering in this game is incredibly difficult. And this mode is all about steering. If you get off balance for even a split second, you go spinning into a wall. I mean, I can't accurately put into words just how hard it is to steer, but look at how much difficulty I'm having just trying to skate through a few rings. Needless to say, I quit before I actually completed the level.
But there's another mode that sounds promising, party mode. It's basically the same as before, only instead of competing against high scores, you're competing against people in the room. I mean, that makes sense. Maybe this is just a game that works better as a party game. But I'd have to get a friend to play with me.
Holla.
I wonder who I could ask.
Oh no.
How do you feel about Tony Hawk Ride?
I fucking hate it.
So based on what I experienced, I think that the low scores the ride received were pretty well justified. Tony Hawk felt differently though, and took to Twitter to let everyone know his opinion on the matter. Most snarky critics had their minds set before ever seeing/playing the game. I'm proud of what we created. It's innovative, responsive, and fun. Well, Mr. Hawk, I suppose I'm just going to have to respectfully disagree.
Holla.
Hey there, thanks for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like it and subscribe. Also, you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook. And if you're in the mood for something else, you can check out some of my other videos here.
Watch for what's coming up next.